From poverty to royal car. The amazing story of Rolls-Royce. If any car in the world is considered a symbol of luxury, power, and prestige, it is Rolls-Royce. This is the car that kings, princes, billionaires, and the most powerful people in the world like to drive. But surprisingly, the company whose cars are considered the most expensive and luxurious cars in the world today was founded by a boy whose childhood was spent in poverty, hard work, and struggle. This is the story of Henry Royce and Charles Rolls. This is not just the story of a company, but the story of dreams, hard work, and courage. Birth of a poor boy. In 1863, a child was born in a small village in England. The child was named Henry Rice. At that time, no one had any idea that this child would one day found the world's most luxurious car company. Henry's father ran a small business, but fate soon changed its course. When Henry was only 4 years old, his father's business was completely destroyed. It became difficult to manage the household expenses. Finally, the day came when the whole family was forced to leave home due to debt and poverty. There was no play in Henry's childhood. His childhood was only filled with worry, hunger, and struggle. Father's death and hard life. When Henry was only 9 years old, his father died. This was the biggest shock in Henry's life. Now all the responsibility of the house fell on his mother. His mother started working as a maid in people's homes, and little Henry also started working. He used to get up early in the morning and distribute newspapers. In winter, cold winds blew. It rained. But Henry used to distribute newspapers in the streets of the city every morning, because he knew that if he didn't work, there would be no food in the house. The first chance in life. When Henry was 14 years old, a turning point came in his life. One of his aunts saw potential in him. They decided to give Henry a better chance. She took him to the office of the Great Northern Railway. It was a large railway company. She requested the company to make Henry an apprentice, learned craftsman. The company gave Henry a chance. This was the first big step in Henry's life. Hard work day and night. For the next 3 years, Henry worked like a machine. He worked in the factory during the day and read books at night. He began to learn mathematics, machinery, and electrical engineering. He often looked at the factory machines carefully at night. He would think, how does this machine work? How can I make it better? Henry had one rule. If something is good, it can be improved. A young engineer. At just 17 years old, Henry had become a skilled mechanic, and at the age of 21, he started working as an engineer. He worked for a company called Maxim Weston. But soon, the company ran into financial difficulties, and the company was close to closing.
A risky decision. Henry had 2 options. The first option, get a job in another company. The second option, start your own business. It was a big risk, because he only had 20 pounds. But Henry made a big decision. He started his own company, a small office. In 1884, Henry opened a small office in Manchester. The name of the company was F.H. Royce & Company. At first, the company only did small jobs. For example, repairing sewing machines, making electrical fittings, making small appliances. But Henry had a big goal. He always said to himself, one day I will make the best machines in the world. Luck began to change. A few years later, Henry saw that the demand for electric lights and fittings was increasing. He started making electrical appliances. For example, bulb holders, doorbells, electrical fittings. Soon his company began to succeed. By 1900, the company's sales exceeded 20,000 pounds. Henry's life began to change. Then a major crisis. In 1901, large companies from Germany and America entered the British market. Competition in the market increased. Prices fell. Henry's company's business began to decline again. Due to this pressure, Henry's health began to deteriorate. The doctor's strange advice. Henry consulted a doctor. The doctor said, "You need fresh air. You should buy a car so you can travel comfortably." This advice was to change Henry's life. A bad car. Henry bought a French car. Its name was the Caval car. But this car turned out to be very bad. It was very noisy. The brakes were weak. The engine would overheat. Henry could not stand it. He was a perfectionist. He said, "I can build a better car than this." The first car. Henry completely redesigned this car. In 1904, he built his first car. This car was light, strong, very quiet. It was one of the best cars of its time. The second hero of the story. At this point, a new character enters the story. His name was Charles Rolls. Charles Rolls came from a wealthy family. He was a great car enthusiast and a successful businessman. When he saw the car that Henry had built, he was amazed. He said to his friend, "I have found the best engineer in the world." Historic partnership. In 1904, the two made a deal. They decided that together they would build the best car in the world. The new company was named Rolls-Royce, the best car in the world. In 1906, they launched a new car. Its name was Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. This car was so quiet that people called it a silent car like a ghost. 24,000 kilometers test. A surprising test was conducted to promote this car. The car was driven 24,000 kilometers, day and night without stopping, and the car passed this test without any breakdowns. After that, the world called it the best car in the world. Spirit of ecstasy. Later, Rolls-Royce created a special symbol for his car. Its name was Spirit of Ecstasy. It is a statue of a woman who appears to be leaning in the air. It is still mounted on the bonnet of every Rolls-Royce car today. A tragic accident. A terrible accident occurred in 1910. Charles Rolls was flying an airplane. The rear part of the plane broke off, and the plane crashed. Charles Rolls died in the accident. He was the first person in Britain to die in a plane crash. War and new business. In 1914, World War I began. Car sales declined, but Henry made a new decision. He started making airplane engines. In 1915, he built his first engine, Rolls-Royce Eagle. This engine proved to be very successful in the war. On the last day, in 1933, at the age of 70, Henry Royce died, but the company he built survived. Today's Rolls-Royce. Today, Rolls-Royce is one of the most luxurious car companies in the world. And today this company is managed by BMW. Lesson from the story. This story gives us 3 big lessons. Keycap 1. Poverty is not an obstacle to success. Keycap 2. Hard work and skill can take a person to the top of the world. Keycap 3. A good partner multiplies success.